To those who do not know, today Deontay Wilder did an interview with the PBC. It was on a podcast. And to my understanding, this is the first time that we've actually heard him speak after his loss to Tyson Fury on the fight. To my knowledge. There might be other videos out there that I missed, but this is the first time I've heard him actually speak. And in this video, first off, I want to say I'm happy for him. He said he's enjoying the time at home. He's recovering from, I think he said, a double bicep surgery. So both his biceps were injured in the fight against Tyson Fury. He said that's going well, that he's doing good. And I put up this picture because he said that he was spending time with his family, and that's what he enjoys the most, because with him fighting, training camp, and being on the road, doing all the little business avenues that he has, he doesn't have a lot of time to be around his family. So he's really enjoying his time at home, which is great. I think that's good because it gives people who only know the Deontay Wilder of I want to catch a body. It shows a more human side to him, to where, it lets people who don't like him relate to him, to see that he is about his family. He does love his family. And I mean, he's always said that. Even when Luis Ortiz, he said the reason why he gave him a rematch was so he could take care of his child as well. So, he's definitely family oriented, which is great. Now, let's get into the meat and bones of what he was talking about in this. He said there was a lot of things going on in the background that we don't know about, that he might speak on as it gets time to the third fight happening. Also, he said that there's a lot of snakes in his camp, and he cut his grass pretty much to get rid of the snakes. So he's weeding people out of his camp. And he said he was going to bring in 2 new people to his training camp, which, as far as boxing is related, this is the most important to me. He said one guy always seems to show up at his camps. The second guy, he didn't reveal who it was. He also said he talked to George Foreman. George Foreman offered to show him ways to strengthen his body and stuff like that. And he said after, the self-quarantine's over, he'll probably spend some one-on-one time face-to-face with George Foreman, which is great, because even if what George Foreman tells Deontay Wilder doesn't work for Deontay Wilder, it still increases your knowledge cap. It still gives you another perspective to look at, and you can try what he says, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, then you didn't really lose anything but a little bit of time. He also alluded to the fact that this fight, because of the corona scare, won't happen till the end of the year, which I think is great, because it gives him time to prepare for Tyson Fury. It gives him time to do things that he needs to do that wasn't done in this second fight, or maybe he really did have something going on in the background. I don't know. Now, I want to touch on something, because he said that he had a double bicep surgery, if I remember correctly. If it wasn't double, he at least had one worked on, which comes back to what I did in my last video, to where I said he needs to fire his strength and conditioning coach. He needs to get rid of him. If both his biceps went out, that means either he had some type of muscular damage to where he was overtrained, or 2, he had some type of tendon damage, which could be very possible, because when you're always boxing, hitting stuff, you're doing a lot of wear and tear to your tendons, ligaments too, but you're doing a lot of wear and tear, and the way that you work out has to adapt to that, because your arms are already being overworked. So you have to be very careful with the way that you actually go about strength training. And being that Deontay Wilder went from, I want to say, 220 to where he was against before Tyson Fury in his last fight, I want to say it was like 220, 221, somewhere around there, to jumping up to 230, and everything he put on, you could tell, was lean mass, because he doesn't have a lot of fat on him. So that means that he was doing a tremendous amount of some type of physical weightlifting. Now, again, with them biceps needing to be worked on, that already tells you whoever he hired doesn't know what he's doing. He didn't know what he was doing, because, again, Deontay Wilder did not look like he had his legs underneath him. I remember personally when I was like young, real young, I went from 137 pounds to 165 pounds within, it was like, 2 to 3 months. Just boom, shot up. Almost 30 pounds, 28 pounds, shot up. Boom, out of nowhere. All right. I was super strong in every weightlifting thing that I did, but I had no legs underneath me. My balance was off because I gained too much weight too fast. Even though my legs were super strong, and even though my upper body was super strong, my legs weren't used to carrying my upper body, so it was real easy to push me over. I remember I would wrestle with some people that I was cool with, and they could get me on the ground with ease, but once I was on my butt or my back, I could muscle them over and win. But my point is, I didn't have any legs underneath me. So Wilder's really got to focus on getting his weight adjusted to his body and working on his legs. He needs to work on balance training as well. So what do I mean by balance training? Balance training can be stuff as simple as you stand in your boxing stance and have people push you from different sides so you can move your body while you try to move forward. Have a person push you to the left, a person push you is backwards because I'm looking at my camera, but person push you to the right. And you know, it works on your stability because whenever you can move and you can get pushed and you don't get knocked off balance, now you're used to taking pressure from different angles, and it keeps you moving forward and on your toes. So there's little things like that you can do to work on your balance that he really needs to work on. Like he can run against somebody, they can try to push him back. He can take a sled and run with it like football training. Stuff like that will definitely work on your balance. You got to understand that, especially when you're putting on weight, you need to make sure you're putting on good weight. Not all weight is good weight. Again, I bring up Andy Ruiz. Although what Wilder put on and what Ruiz put on were two different things, they both can be harmful. In other words, Ruiz put on blubber. We know that now. 20 pounds of blubber. Wilder put on, 9 pounds of muscle, which is a lot of muscle. That's a lot of muscle. 9 pounds of muscle. But what type of muscle was it? Was it quality? Was it strong? Was it stable? Did he have endurance with it? There's so many things that go into it that when you're doing a sport like boxing that relies so much on endurance and balance, that you have to train for that stuff. You can't just get strong and be able to fight. That's why I find videos on YouTube when they're like skinny guy beats up muscle man or bodybuilder. Fat guy beats up bodybuilder. It's stupid. Just because you have muscles, just because you're strong doesn't mean you can fight. Just because you're skinny or just because you're fat doesn't mean you know how to fight. No, what makes you know how to fight is knowing how to fight. Now, what I'm getting to is boxing is different than training for football. It's different than training for bodybuilding. It's different. You have to work on stabilizer muscles more than you need to work on power muscles. What do I mean by that? A power muscle, say your chest, pushing, military press, straight over your head, lifting, deadlifts, squats. Those are power movements. Stabilizers is something as simple as what you see people in calisthenics, although I think calisthenics is useless, but they do work on certain stabilizers when you see them hold themselves up over the bar for as long as they can, or they bring themselves into a flagpole. Those are stabilizer muscles. The thing about it is, stabilizer muscles, they're small. And that's what they are. They're stabilizing you. Will give out a lot faster than the big muscle. But if you don't have nothing to stabilize you, then what good are you? It's like, for instance, a prime example of this. I can have a tank, right? And that tank can be powerful. But if it doesn't have no stability over it, then its power is no good if I can knock the legs out from underneath or the tracks in that case, and it just sits on the ground and can't go nowhere. You have to have stability underneath you. With that stability, you need speed, you need explosion, especially Deontay Wilder because he's so fast, he's so explosive that him slow does not help his power. Him slow is not a I'm super strong and I'm going to hit you and knock you over type strength. His strength is in the explosion, just a bow, explosion. Now, let's get back to the interview because I've gone on my tangent again and we're on a tirade about something that ain't got nothing to do with where I started. So back to the point. So it's good that he's bringing in new people, which I believe he needs to do. It's good that he's cutting out snakes that could or could not be there. I don't know. I've never been in this camp, never been around these people. That's good too. What's also good is the fact that, let's not go there. What's bad? Let's go to what's bad real fast. What's bad is he keeps alluding to that wasn't the real Deontay Wilder. There was something wrong with me, but he doesn't want to say what's wrong. I don't know if he's trying to say that he had poisoned water because he said he was like a zombie, which I've seen YouTube videos bring up, which I don't think happened. If he's saying his suit was too heavy, which again, when I found out it was 45 pounds, then you add the lights to it, then you figure who knows how long he had it on before. Let's just say 15 minutes, right? Let's say he wore 45 pounds for 15 minutes and the lights were only on for maybe 2 or 3 minutes max. Although that can be heat. The heat can dry up your sweat, which can also make you exhausted. But anyways, so let's say 15 minutes with the suit, 3 minutes of light. So we'll add an extra 3 minutes to it because the lights will intensify it. So let's say 18 minutes roughly is where he was feeling the strain, or it would be like 18 minutes that he was feeling the strain. Now, maybe that could affect him. See, even though people have released videos of him running with a vest on and doing exercises with a weighted vest on that might be 45 pounds or lighter, I don't know, it could be 55 pounds. I don't know how heavy the vest is. I'm not there to weigh it. But the point is this. You're not doing that type of training and stepping into a fight right afterwards. So yes, already having, say, 18 minutes worth of weight on you in heat for 3 minutes on you could hinder your performance. That's stupid. You shouldn't do that. There's a reason why you don't see people coming out in chainmail or dressed up like knights before a fight. So that's dumb if he wore that much, and he did wear it, but there's no one to blame but himself because he made the choice to put it on, keep it on, and walk out with it on, and then fight after having it on. That's on him. He can't blame nobody but himself. That's not on his team. That's not on the designers. That's on himself. Lesson learned. I don't like him bringing up excuses. Like, it's what it sounds like. He's holding back excuses that he's not letting anybody know. That's not good. Because the thing about it is, if you truly believe that wasn't the real you, you know that wasn't the real you, it can actually hinder your performance because then your head is so big that you don't realize your flaws. You're like, no, it's this reason, it's that reason, it's this, and that. I don't need to change anything. He didn't really fight me because of these reasons. And if that's the mindset you have, then you're going to fall into the same traps. No, what you need to realize is you got outboxed, you got outworked, you got outmuscled. Tyson Fury used that weight against you. He held you down, headlocked you, wore you out. Kept you going backwards. You didn't know how to create space, the power that you used to have. And I'm saying used to have, not that it wasn't there, but what we saw happen to Fury in the first fight didn't happen in this fight for one or two reasons. One, or actually for both reasons. I won't say one or the other, for both these reasons. One, Fury was used to being hit because he went in there with heavier men, true heavyweights. You can say whatever you want about their talent. He's still getting hit by true heavyweights. So now he's more resistant to damage. He's used to being hit. I mean, hell, I could tell y'all right now, I ain't boxed in a minute. When I used to box, I would do ab drills to where I would get people to hit me in the stomach and I would just move forward and move them backwards while they're just hitting me as hard as they can. Nowadays, man, my little son can hit me in the stomach and it will hurt. That's what I'm saying. Like, you build up a tolerance for it. Your body gets used to things. And one of the reasons why Tyson Fury could have went down was because he wasn't used to being hit. And then once he got used to being hit, them punches didn't hurt as bad because he's more resistant. The second thing is he put on more weight. The more weight you have, the more damage you can absorb. If you don't believe it, it's simple physics. You don't see a 110-pound running back busting through a line in the NFL because he's just too small and he'll get ran over and his body will be broken before he even makes it out of the first quarter to a 245, 260-pound linebacker. It's not going to happen. It's never happened. It never will happen. Weight matters. The more weight you put on, the more damage you can absorb. Not only can you absorb more damage, but you can hit harder. So now you've got a guy who's bigger, more resistant, coming at you, backing you up. What can you do when you have no power? When your power is not there to save you, what can you do? That's what he needs to be asking himself, and coming up with excuses makes that question fall into the background, makes that question not even relevant in his mind, because he believes that his power can still save him. It cannot. You cannot rely on a one-punch knockout against this man, Tyson Fury. Again, what I did in my post-fight breakdown video of things that he needs to do, like I said, first off, get rid of the strength and conditioning. Again, like I said in the beginning of this video, that's only more concreted because of the fact that he tore his biceps, or at least a bicep. So that right there tells me that dude needs to go. Again, he needs to get somebody strong. Secondly, not only does he need to get somebody who knows how to get strong working with his body, he needs to get somebody who's good at wrestling, that's tall. I don't care if he comes from the WWE. I don't care if it's an Olympian. I don't care if it's a strong man. He just needs to get somebody in there after he's done sparring to go into the clinch with him to force him down. Now, you need to have a guy who's at least somewhat knowledgeable on wrestling, so you don't get a guy who's just going to break him in half and injure him by forcing him down. You need to have somebody that can work with him, that can apply pressure, move him down slowly, hold him down, and then as Wilder gets stronger and stronger against that pressure, forcing him down, then you add more and more pressure, putting him down. So that way when Tyson Fury tries to do it, Wilder's going to be too strong. He's naturally used to guys weighing down on him, and he can back him up, stand him up. If he tries to do a headlock, he can slip out of it and push him back. He can keep Fury from leaning on him. Okay? Now, I want to put this disclaimer out there right now. I am not anti-Deontay Wilder. I am not pro-Fury. I am not anti-Fury, and I am not pro-Wilder. I like to call things down the middle when I do these videos. So, this is, I know I had some subs of mine get mad because I was giving Wilder credit, talking about I did a 180. I don't do a 180. My straight down the middle, no matter how it goes. Y'all seen the joke videos I made with the LDBC of them crying and the crap that they came up with, and Deontay Wilder probably wouldn't like the movie trailer that I made, but it's all in good fun. I don't show favoritism. So again, if Deontay Wilder can come back and win in this third fight, I'm happy for him. Kudos to him. Good job. If Tyson Fury goes on to beat him again, then Tyson Fury now has a stake to a real legacy. Because if he beats Anthony Joshua, as long as Pulev doesn't knock him off, then there's going to be talks of Fury being one of the greatest to ever do it. I can tell y'all that right now, regardless how you feel about the competition, and that's something I want to touch on too, of today's era. He's going to be in the question. What Deontay Wilder has to do is not just beat Fury, but he needs to prove that he belongs to be in there with Fury. He cannot do that by a one-punch knockout. If Wilder comes out there and knocks Fury out in the first round, it doesn't really prove that he belongs in the ring with him, if that makes any sense. It proves that Wilder's power is real. Proves that Wilder can knock anybody out, which is nothing that anybody's ever argued. What people have argued against Wilder is he has no technical ability, he doesn't know how to box, he's only good at range, and he hasn't fought the hardest competition. That's always been the negatives against Wilder. So in my opinion, Wilder needs to go into this third match with the mindset of outboxing Fury. Showing, and if he can't outbox him, at least competitively fight him. Show that he belongs in the ring with him. Show that he is of the same caliber, the same tier, cut from the same cloth as Fury before beating him. Because again, a 5-10 second knockout doesn't really prove technical ability. It just proves what everybody's always known, that if Wilder hits you, he can knock you out. So that's why I'm saying that these excuses that are going on, we don't know what they are, but Wilder will bring it out later on. He needs to get that out of his mind. He needs to truthfully go in there with the mindset of, I need to learn how to fucking create space in the pocket. I need to bait Fury into coming into uppercuts, check hooks. I need to learn how to move around the ring. See, when I did my chair with circling, showing how Fury was pushing Wilder to his power side while Fury was circling away from Wilder's power side, but pushing him into his power. When I gave that example, Wilder needs to learn how not to be pushed into power shots. He needs to learn how to maneuver. He needs to learn when he's being attacked and barrages are coming on him, not just how to block or shell back, but he needs to learn how to slip and hold. There's nothing wrong with grabbing into a clinch. Clinching somebody doesn't make you weak. Hell, Lennox Lewis, Klitschko, they made a whole career off of jab, jab, grab. That doesn't show that you're weak. It's tactically smart. As long as you can hold on and the referee allows it, every time you get in danger, you should be slipping and grabbing. Every time he gets too close to you, you should be grabbing. That way the referee creates that space for you. So now he's got to come back in and you can come at him. And when he gets too close, you grab his ass again and make the referee separate y'all to give you that knockout range that you need. So those are the things that I think he needs to work on. Again, I don't like the excuses that it seems to be that he wants to make that he doesn't want to reveal quite yet. Now, if he comes out and says, well, Tyson Fury was choking me, it drained me of all my energy after being choked, and the referee didn't say anything, then I don't consider that an excuse, because I called that out in my video. And I'm not just saying that to boost up my own video. I'm just saying that if there's some things that went on that, say Fury hit him with an elbow or a headbutt that we didn't see that Wilder felt, and he brings that up, those aren't really excuses. Those are legitimate things that happened to him. That's different than an excuse. An excuse is my suit was too heavy. An excuse is my biceps hurt. An excuse is my legs were dead. I felt like a zombie. I was drugged. Those are excuses. But if it's legitimate things that Tyson Fury was doing in there that we could have missed, anybody could have missed, and if we watch it back after Wilder says it and we see it, then that's a legit reason. That's not an excuse. I just wanted to clarify that. It's the excuses that are the issue. But what I took from this interview is I don't really like where Wilder's head is. I really believe that he still believes that he's superior to Fury. And I'm not saying that he needs to have a defeatist mindset like, oh, I lost, there's nothing I can do. No, believe in yourself. But you need to realize your weaknesses, because if you can't work on your weaknesses and Fury's going to exploit them, then there's nothing you can do to beat him. That's all I'm saying. So, again, best of luck to Deontay Wilder. Let's go in my Deontay Wilder section of this. And I just want to talk real fast on what the PBC interviewers, podcasters, whatever you want to call them, journalists, said. They were trying to say that the era of boxing now, the fighters are better than when Klitschko went through. And that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There is no way nobody is going to tell me right now. Think about this. This is what I want y'all to think about. Okay? Think about this right now. The era of Klitschko, if it was worse than the era today, then how is it that Pulev is still a number one contender? Old. How is it that Povetkin, old, is still a top 10 ranked fighter? How is it that I just had him on? Oh, Chisora. Chisora is still a top 10 fighter in this era. You've never seen old men like this in their 40s in any other era remain at the top like they have today in any of the past. Think about that. Larry Holmes was what, 37 when Mike Tyson beat him? And they considered him ancient. They were surprised that Larry was still there. And Larry Holmes was a great fighter, but that's my point. You're seeing guys who are from the past era, who are now old, still at the top. They're still at the top. So you can't compare Klitschko's era to today's era when you still have fighters from Klitschko's era that are still at the top, who are old now, beating young guys at the top. That's all I wanted to touch on. I'm going to end the video on that. Again, Deontay Wilder, the best of luck to you. I need to really this time post in the description the post-fight breakdown of what I think Wilder needs to work on, because that still stands true, and I don't want to get repetitive and make this a 40-minute video instead of a 26-minute video. So just check out that link if you haven't seen it yet. I'll put it up after this goes up. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank all my new subs, old subs, and if you like this video, if you like what you're listening to, please give it a thumbs up at the very least, as it helps my channel grow. And at the most, go ahead and sub to it. I'm trying to get these videos out to y'all. I got a lot going on, so sometimes I can't do it every day like I would like to, but I try to give my 2 cents on this, and if y'all agree, I'll agree. If you don't agree, write in the comment sections. I reply to every single person who types to me. So you don't have to pay me a super chat. You don't have to give me any type of money, no funds, and I will converse with you whether we agree or disagree. This is the channel for anybody's opinions to come on here. I'm going to try to open up some lives to where people can call in so they can have a live debate with me if they don't agree with me, or they can say where they do agree, or we could just bullshit and talk about shit that ain't even boxing related. It doesn't matter. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. I'm out. And again, Deontay Wilder, best of luck to you. I hope you can get your mind right. I hope you can be more competitive in this next fight. The reason why I like you as a fighter, the reason why my opinion changed on you so much is because I watched you get dominated for 7 rounds straight, and I never once saw that fire go out. I never once saw you give up. I never once saw you stopping to try to fight back. Every time the referee separated y'all, you was there going back. You was dead on your feet, and you was still going back to fight Tyson Fury. When you was in the corner, you was still trying to fight even though the towel was thrown in. You never gave up. In the heart of a lion, the heart of a fighter is so hard to find. And for that, regardless how untechnical you are, where your flaws may lie, I give you all the credit in the world for having that heart, for having that passion, for having that will to never give up, to fight. Because a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people who just win easily, never get tested because they were born better, don't ever get tested. But your time came, you got tested. Yes, you failed by not winning, but you proved that you are a real fighter. You proved that you are a real champion, because like a real champion, you did not give up. So with that being said, I hope you are taking this serious. I hope that you get the right people in your camp, the right people around you. I hope that you open up avenues for yourself to learn and really succeed where you have failed. Thank y'all again for watching.